What else in the sales methodologies might be applicable for customer success managers? How about contract negotiations? Do you touch on that?
Yeah, I do talk about contract negotiations. I talk about it in a couple of different ways. One, if it's just kind of one-on-one and people are always trying to negotiate, there are a couple of things. So one is when someone asks me to negotiate the price. Let's pretend you're the customer. I'm your customer success person. And we have a good rapport and it's time for renewal. And you know it's time for renewal and all that stuff. This is how I position pricing. And then you do what you think, what your customer would say is like, hey, Irit, I know we've done this and I know we've accomplished these pieces. And by the way, here's the economic impact. Here's what should be happening. Do you feel like that's what's happening in your world?
Maybe to some degree. Maybe there's some points that I'd like to contest.
What would be those points?
I think you could have done better on some of our support tickets. We had some serious outages. The SLAs weren't met.
Thank you for being so honest. Like, I appreciate that. And I love that we can have this dialogue. Not that it's okay. How much did it affect you? I need to let my team know that, hey, so-and-so had this outage and it prevented them from doing this, which cost them this much money. Do you have any idea what that might be, even if you just ballparked it?
I really don't know the numbers. I have to get back to you, but it's probably, in the six figures.
Okay, six figures. Totally understand. And I'd like to continue that conversation. I know we need to still talk about commercial terms moving forward, but I want to make sure we don't just blow that part off. Is that okay, though?
Yeah, I think from our end, we just want to make sure that we put covenants in place to ensure that your company meets those SLAs going forward.
Got it. Okay. And that's all fair. Like, I think these are fair things. And I love that we have this dialogue. I take it personally because I don't want to disappoint you, but I don't take it personally like, oh my God, I know you're not bashing me. Like, I get it. Well, as we move forward, and it sounds like this is going to be a couple of conversations, moving forward, the pricing for this is now going to be $80,000 a year. I know your contract last year was $72,000 a year. How does that pricing feel for you?
We would really love to avoid it. We didn't prepare for that. I didn't set up the budget for an increase, and it's totally out of left field.
I think it's fair to say that, look, everybody's costs increase. Ours increase, yours increase. Every company has price increases, and I get it. I guess when I look back at this and I see the value as I understand it being this much, and yes, you have this concern about the 100 or 200,000. Not that that doesn't matter, because it does. The overall economic impact of what we've helped you accomplish is more than the downside. Not to say we won't help take care of it. I just want to make sure that we have an honest conversation. And here's how we look at the pricing, just so you know, is that the pricing is really dictated by the market, not what people put in their budget. And I know that's frustrating to people, but it's kind of like, you don't get to go down to the corner store and tell the gasoline guy you don't want to pay that price. You might go to one across the street because it's 3 cents cheaper, but that's because that's what the market dictates. How do you feel about us being able to work with this?
Well, we'll just have to open the conversation and see what we can do. I'll have to reel in finance into this and see what happens.
That's perfect. Okay, well, let's table the rest of this for now. So let's pause. Like, that's the role play. So you're smiling. For those, what stuck out to you rather than me telling you?
I think you were very gracious throughout the conversation. You exhibited empathy towards a situation that was probably very painful. And I was like super chill about it because I didn't really lose the money.
I want to drill down with you on a couple of things. There was very specific phrasing that I used in the beginning when I talked about pricing. Did you catch the F-bomb?
I didn't actually. It was very smooth, I thought. Kind of deflected it with the content of what you were saying.
So here's the deal. When you lay out pricing, we've all been taught wrongly, and I used to teach it, to shut up and wait. For the person who speaks first loses. So my job is to get you to speak first. Here's how I did it. I said, how does that pricing feel? Because everything you purchase has an emotional component. Every dress, every jacket, every candy bar. How do you feel when you buy a candy bar? If it's $5 because you're in Vegas, it feels like you're being taken advantage of. It makes us angry. And nobody knows how to resist that answer. And the answer you get is true. You were very honest. You had to stop and think for a second, well, how do I feel? I mean, it was a split second. You're like, well, that feels a little high. I wasn't expecting that. I didn't budget for it. which, by the way, I should know that's the answer you're going to give me. Nobody wants a price increase, so I shouldn't be shocked. I need to be prepared. So that's the one. And it's a really weird question to ask if you're not used to it. But when you do, it's amazing. And you just say, here's the price. How does that feel? And the answers you get are so telling. So now here's the second piece that I put in there. And then I'm going to tell you what I didn't do intentionally. The second piece, if you caught it, was I said, this is what the market dictates, because there's no answer to that. There's no rebuttal to that. Nobody can argue with it.
Well, couldn't I have said something along the lines, well, I have a number of vendors that did not increase their prices.
Yeah.
Actually, most of our vendors did not. You're kind of unique in that. I don't think it's the market.
I appreciate that. I'm not sure who those vendors are or what they do. I also don't know that what their pain of change is. Maybe their pain of change is a lot easier than ours. We know that it takes 6 to 8 weeks to onboard us. And then I get quiet, because that pain of change is worth way more than that $8,000. By the way, that is the part I didn't talk about.
Yeah. Where
you actually have to challenge them to say, well, okay, well, if you decide to go, how much time is that going to take you? You're going to have to go shop a vendor. You're going to have to test it. You're going to have to go to finance and do it. Sure, they'll probably even lowball you. What are all the things you aren't going to be able to get done because you're now onboarding some new solution? Now, had you not mentioned that this $100,000 piece where you were still frustrated, I would have gone in that direction. I would have challenged you. However, I need to make good on any errors we've made. So before I say F you, which is what it would have sounded like in that scenario, I have to go take care of that piece. Now, that being said, I would still have that tactic in my back pocket so that when I have the next conversation.
Guys, if you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe to our YouTube channel. It helps a lot. So thank you for those who have already done that. And as always, I'll see you at the next video.